In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Today we are going to introduce the Apocalypse. Now, the Apocalypse is the name of the last book in the New Testament. In other words, the last book in the Bible. And obviously, if it's the last book in the Bible, it is a summation of the whole Old Testament, of the whole New Testament. It's the whole caboodle in front of us. And many of us open the Apocalypse and are frightened by all these funny stories. But if we just gradually think about it, and the central idea is that every day at Mass is the Apocalypse. We see all the secrets of the universe. And the word Apocalypse originally is a Greek word. It is the word used to signify during the marriage ceremony, the bride lifts her veil and reveals the beauty, the secrets of her beauty. So in the same way, when we go to the Mass, there is Apocalypse. Heaven opens. We see the Ark of the Covenant. We see all the angels and the saints. So the Apocalypse is the daily revelation of God at every Mass in every Catholic Church. So the Apocalypse, new heaven, new earth. The secrets of the Mass relieved. You see, that's John. John was the beloved apostle of Jesus Christ. He was the youngest guy, but perhaps he then lived to the oldest, because they tried to kill him by putting him in a boiling basin of oil, but he got through the ordeal. So this is John the Evangelist. He wrote the Apocalypse, and it basically, according to this interpretation of this period, the Apocalypse is what happens at every Mass, because Mass is a summation of our lives. The story goes that he was condemned to be killed, but they couldn't kill him, so they sent him to the penal colony here at Patmos. When he was at Patmos, the Apocalypse was revealed to him, and subsequently he wrote the Apocalypse. And in a few minutes we'll go to Seljuk, where his tomb is, and we'll do some other things. But the basic idea is that at Patmos, the Apocalypse was revealed to St. John, and he was buried here, and quite possibly John here. You see, St. John's Basilica is here, and in a few minutes we'll go along and we'll come have a look at it. We'll have a shufti at John's Basilica in Seljuk. John became the Bishop of Ephesus. He was responsible for these 7 churches. And he wrote a letter, which was the Apocalypse, to all of them. And obviously, well, he pointed out the faults. For example, each of these cities had their own faults and their own good points. And in the letter, so the Apocalypse starts off with the revelation of Jesus. Then it goes into the letter to this, the letter to this, the letter to this, and in a few minutes we'll go to Sardis. The reason why we're going to Sardis is basically because I've got pictures of Sardis. But we'll just take one of them, because we don't have time to go through the whole. This is the whole history book to write all about this. So we'll just go. So we're starting off here in Patmos, because John had the revelation of the Apocalypse in Patmos while he was doing time, because of his Christian beliefs, and he became the Bishop of Ephesus. And nearby, according to tradition, Our Lady also died here, and she rose to heaven. This is Ephesus. But in a few minutes we're going to go to Seljuk here, and then we'll go to Sardis here, and this is on the east, the west coast of Turkey. So incidentally, if we just remind, and it's the west coast of Turkey, and 2,000 years ago John was the Bishop of Ephesus, and here in Patmos he had his revelation. So here we are again. You see, this is Patmos, and where he had an island, a Greek island, and this is Turkey here. And then shortly we're going to go to Seljuk, John's Basilica, where he had his revelation. So here we are in Seljuk, and we have these perennial stalks. This was the church, the Basilica of St. John the Evangelist. And so when we see, we have this, we can see by this door, the entrance, just how magnificent this basilica used to be. I think it was built by Justinian. He had this magnificent, and then due to earthquakes, pillages, plagues, Muslims encounters, gradually the whole thing was torn. But we can see the vast extent of it, how they held in reverence this great man John. And we can say to ourselves, why was he chosen? Well, they say that John was the youngest of the apostles. He was also a priest. He lived to a ripe old age, and his great thing was love. And you see the life of John, you see this is here. And the great thing is that because he was a priest, basically the Apocalypse is a description of the litany, of the liturgy in the Jewish temple in Jerusalem. And these are all symbolized as the liturgy in heaven. So the Apocalypse is basically giving us a revelation of what the eternal liturgy is in heaven. In other words, a liturgy means the work of the laity. What our work, because our life, is the liturgy in heaven. And that encompasses the whole of creation. So creation isn't just people praying like this, it's the whole of creation. The flowers and the trees are all in this cosmic liturgy, which is what is called the Mass. This is the tomb of John the Baptist, or not John the Baptist, John the Evangelist, because he wrote the Gospels. Here's his tomb here, and he left us. He wrote 3 letters, 1 Gospel, and the Apocalypse in the New Testament, so we can see his thought. And he is symbolized by the eagle. Why by the eagle? Because he was supposed to have this far-sighted vision of the universe. So he was this guy, like an eagle, looking down at the whole thing. So we can remember that the 4 Gospels, the last Gospel is St. John's Gospel, and it is, as I say, it's a kind of an eagle's vision of the whole of the economy of salvation. We can see just by this is probably, quite possibly, John the Baptist 2,000 years ago. Now what are we doing here? We're going off to Sardis. This is the Seljuk bus station, and we are heading for we are heading for the base of Sardis. And we've just mentioned Sardis is just one of the 7 cities that John wrote his letter to. But now this is what we have. We have Muslim taken over the whole thing. We're not Muslim basher. We're just saying that's the situation. So we have these 2 lovely old ladies, and they got their things, and that's the old league, the old thing, as you could say. We just remind ourselves that Sardis is just one of the 7 cities that John the Evangelist wrote letters to, and we can say that each of these cities represents a different fault, a different particularity, a different characteristic. And Sardis was really berated by John the Evangelist. He gave this place pretty bad marks. And the main thing is that these people and people of Sardis are very much like us today. They had the whole caboodle. It was a fertile plain, we all know. The plain in Turkey, it was very, very fertile. They had everything. They have irrigation, they had fruit. They had this river which is called the Pactolus River, and in this river, because you know the word, as rich as Croesus. So Croesus is once here. He captured the city of Sardis. You see, we have fertility here. If you have water there, you've got the water, the sun, everything you want. And Croesus, we also say as rich as Croesus. So this is a very rich place. They produce wool. Dyeing of wool was started off there. Coinage was started off there. Silver coins, gold coins, because these metals were in abundance. They could go down the river, do a bit of, get their sieves out, and there was gold everywhere. And the story goes, of course, that there was this king. He asked for the gift of everything he touched became gold. Everything that he touched became gold, and as a result, his daughter came home from the movies or somewhere, I don't know where it was, his daughter, when he touched his daughter became gold. Well, you can imagine the poor guy was in a terrible state. So he said, okay, please get rid of the touch of, you know, this making everything gold. And so he was told to go to the river, wash his hands in the Pactolus, and this gift was taken away, and he could no longer turn things into gold. But the end result was that this Pactolus river was liquid gold. So these guys in Sardis just had to go down to the river, do a bit of sieving and sifting, and they were gold they were as rich as Croesus, and that was it, you see. So we have here, okay, we have poppies, we have you know, fertile soil, and get the ladies out there, and the men are just sitting by. You know, they're pretty masochistic society. Now, this town, or this place is Tumulus. This is what symbolizes basically Sardis. Sardis, as we just said, symbolizes us today. We have everything. We feel secure. We've got all our National Health Service, or whatever it is, and we can go down to the corner shop, we can go to these boulevards, we can buy, and we can do everything we want. We're perfectly safe. Bang! The whole thing's, we have a little germ coming from the middle of China, and we're all frightened to navvy breaks. We just don't know what's going to happen. And this place symbolizes us. You see this mountain of Tumulus. You see the sheer cliffs. You see the sheer cliffs, okay? You see the sheer cliffs coming here, and this was supposed to secure their safety. And they sat up there, looking down at the river which is pouring with gold, looking at the fertile fields, and going to their temples, worshipping the sun, etc. They said, we are honky-dory, nothing can hurt us. That's us today. So the story of Sardis, pay attention. Today, you are looking fine. Tomorrow, you'll be dead. So we've got to prepare for our deaths every day, to meet our day every day. And we do that by going to Mass every day.
This is...
Oh, who's that? Okay, thank you very much.